Good Friday afternoon, Village Tech. I've got a few announcements for us. First, regarding COVID-19, you can monitor our COVID-19 dashboard for case counts. And as you would expect, after the holidays, we have seen an increase in cases among our school community. We've also seen an increase in exposures, which we're going to continue to monitor. With that in mind, please take advantage of this coming Wednesday from 3:30 to 5:15. ATC will be out again to provide free testing for Village Tech faculty and students. Also, whether you're virtual or in person, please continue to communicate any positive cases. I want to again commend our families and our faculty for completing the screener each day, communicating with Mrs. Paulos regarding any possible exposures or positive cases. This is how we continue to work together to prevent the spread within our school community. And also, just as an encouragement and a request, if someone in your household is symptomatic and they are pending a COVID test result, we would ask that you have your student stay in the virtual environment until that test result comes in. That way, we're just taking an extra step of caution, especially in the month of January and February, as we've seen the highest single-day death toll yesterday, continued hospitalizations surging, and just a continued spread throughout our North Texas community. We want to continue to do the best job that we can with our school community. With all of those things in mind, I just want us to be mindful of the very real possibility that we may need to go virtual as a school campus. That's not determined at this time. The case counts currently, we're still able to provide in-person instruction, but in the event that some of that information changes, I just want our school community to be mindful and kind of mentally prepared for that possibility sometime potentially in the month of January or February. More communication on that should that need arise for all of us. Second, it's the end of the first semester. The first semester ends January 14th. The second semester begins on Tuesday, January 19th, after the 4-day weekend. We have another Friday in January where students are in school. That'll be the 22nd. And then report cards are scheduled to be available no later than January 28th. Check in with your students. How'd their first semester go? I know our secondary students are preparing for their presentations of learning and are also completing their student-led conferences. This is a great time to continue to support our students' developments as leaders of their own learning. They're the ones that set the goals. They're the ones that tell their story of the work that was significant to them this semester, track their progress. All of this is so that they can continue to build resilience and be proactive in their learning. So it looks a little bit different, obviously, in the virtual and in-person environment, but still it's our students leading the conferences, and they're the ones that are taking initiative for their work and for their learning. Also coming up this weekend, the weather is looking like we may have our first snow of the year, and actually it'd be the first snow that resulted potentially in a school closure in a long time. So we'll keep an eye on things on Sunday. Should there be a need, we will announce that through our website, social media, and you'll be able to find it on the news channels. Our goal is to announce that by 6:30 a.m. on Monday morning. That day would be a virtual day. So in order to just continue with our instruction, Monday, should we be unable to meet in person due to inclement weather, we'll meet virtually on Monday and have a virtual school day. So be on the lookout for that communication. And finally, I don't know about you, but I'm still processing the events and images from our nation's capital this week. My sister-in-law, who's now retired, served as a Capitol police officer throughout her career. And as a young kid, I got to see hallways and offices and rooms that are off limits to the general public. And I felt like I was walking through history. I'm pretty confident that spending my early years outside of DC was a major contributing factor to me being a history major at the University of Arkansas. But seeing this space infiltrated and overrun by American citizens hit close to home. I'm troubled by the social and political polarization that continues, and combined with economic struggles and families impacted by loss, frankly, we're just all still on edge. And in times of high stress, we often fall back to our stereotypes and our categorizations of other people. And categories aren't inherently bad. As a student of history and an educator, I know that we need categories to help us make sense of the world. Gordon Allport writes that the human mind must think with the aid of categories. We cannot possibly avoid this process. Orderly living depends on it. I think the challenge in front of all of us now is this: how do we acknowledge the limits of these categories and embrace learning about and celebrating people that we may have placed in boxes in our minds? This is one reason we emphasize the discipline of design thinking at Village Tech, because it's a human-centered process that builds skills in empathy, the ability to see another's perspective and experience. We're not going to agree with each other all the time, that's not the goal. But by understanding one another, we increase the chances of working well together and making a positive impact on the world around us. This chapter in American and human history is a crash course in resilience, the ability to rebound from difficulties and obstacles. And this is what we want for our students. It's why we challenge them. It's why they lead conferences, present their learning, experiment, make things. And in all of this, my hope is that we can follow the words of Maya Angelou. I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. This experience continues to change each of us and all of us. Let's keep working to rise together and overcome it. With that, thank you for listening. I hope you have a fantastic weekend.